Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Just getting things set up here. Ready to get started on my run. Thought this would be a good chance. Zwift got some updates in for the run module. So I was going to use this chance to show you guys kind of how to get set up in the run module. So hopefully this works. Got a little bit of my backdrop set up here where you can kind of see what I'm doing. So if you see where my mouse is right now, just underneath the heart rate stuff, if you click around in this area here is how you're going to find your run module. I'm going to click around here until you hear it click. Trying to find the right spot. Right there it is. Hear it beeping. When I do that, it switches me over to run speed. Hey Nathan, how's it going? So if you can see now in the upper left-hand corner, I have run speed instead of power meter. So we are going to search for my Garmin FootPod, which I'm using an A&T Plus FootPod, and it picked that up, and it also paired it with my cadence also. One thing I'm going to do here, there's this little wrench underneath the Garmin FootPod. This is where the new calibration factor is going to come into play here. I click on that. This is where Zwift will now allow you to calibrate a FootPod. So I'm going to set this up to calibrate, not at 9.5 miles an hour. We're going to go down to about 7 miles an hour. And I'm going to get my treadmill running here at about 7 miles an hour. And this is how we're going to calibrate. This is on a PC, Nathan. That's a good question. I am running on the PC version of the app right now. You can also run on the iOS version, but streaming, it's much easier for me to stream off the PC version. So we're going to set my speed to 7 miles an hour here. Yeah, the calibration is an awesome new option that they've got. So what I would recommend when you calibrate is to calibrate about the speed that you're going to run at, because your calibration can change a little bit based on running speed. So I've got my treadmill running right now at 7 miles an hour, and it's going to be a little loud while I'm calibrating here, guys, because I've got my mic turned up a little bit, but once I start running, I'll get that set up a little bit better, so my noise gate will be better. So I'm going to start running here and try not to fall because I'm holding the keyboard. So I'm going to run here at 7 miles an hour. I'm going to click next. I'm going to tell it to start. I'm going to set the keyboard down just because that might impact my stride a little bit. So I'm going to run here at 7 miles an hour for 60 seconds. This is a basically identical type calibration to what you do in a Garmin, is my understanding of what I've read on it. Is it's basically just going to calculate a percentage offset, and what you will find is, like, mine will be perfect now at 7 miles an hour, but maybe if I run 9 miles an hour, I might still get to be like 1 or 2% off. But this definitely will get you a nice solid baseline, especially if you're doing long runs at kind of if you stay at a pretty consistent pace. If you calibrate at that pace, you should be in awesome shape. Okay, calibration complete. So we're going to slow that down a little bit. So that's kind of the tutorial on how to calibrate. So it is telling me it's looking at the Wahoo for the cadence. Need to make sure fix that. You see that? Let's unpair the cadence. We want to pair the Garmin FootPod, and there the Garmin FootPod's paired for the cadence. Doing something funky. Hey baby Joshy, how's it going? So that's all we have to do to pair. And I'm going to go to the next screen here. I'm going to change the route. I've not run the new big flat route. So let's go see if we can find that. It's the Greater London Flat. It is 7.2 miles. I don't plan on running quite that far, but this will give us a look at some of the new roads we run this one today. So let's do the Greater London Flat. Get things running. We got a couple things I got to kick on here, and then I think we're good to go. That's it, guys. Crank up my tunes a little bit. Start running. I do have the treadmill down at a 6 mile an hour pace right now, which is a 10-minute mile. I do have a little Zwift Running that will change my camera view. So you're going to see me bounce around to a few different camera views. My heart rate is not 158. Until I get a good sweat going, my heart rate will pick up the bounce of my run cadence. Yeah, the Pete Donahue here on Facebook is saying the new kit looks a little more comfortable. Yeah, it does. They got some new running kit. Basically, you can't change your jersey in the run module right now. So, I'd rather be wearing my Team Experimental jersey. That's alright. You can see my heart rate's all over the place. That is not accurate still. So, guys, I do have chat up for Twitch, Mixer, and Facebook. So if you guys want to chat with me, either any of those places, I am open to chat. We'll see how this works out. So far, the pacing's pretty close. Treadmill's set at 6 mile an hour, so I might be reading a tad fast right here, but I calibrated at 7. I'm sure that makes a difference. We might get a sprint in at some point, Nathan. It's been a long while since I've been doing a lot of running. Probably been 3 weeks since I've ran it all. But yeah, we'll push the pace a little bit. We'll see if we can pass a couple bikers going up into Trafalgar Square. They always enjoy when the runner goes by them, so. I'm not getting ready for any tries right now. Actually did one just 2 weeks ago. Got 4th overall. Fastest bike split. I won the co-ed relay with my daughter and her 9-year-old friend. So that was a lot of fun. So I did the full triathlon by myself, and then came back and rode the bike a second time with my relay. So right now, my biggest issue with triathlon is the swimming part. Yeah, rowing would be awesome. I was just trying to look around here. It looks like my mic gate is working really well here, so. Yeah, so if somebody needs to get like they sell endless pools. Just basically you buy a spa and it has a directional current in it. And if you get one big enough, maybe you can do rowing in it. My heart rate actually is way high right now. That is not my real heart rate still. My heart rate's probably 120, 130. So, gotta get a little liquid on the heart rate strap. I don't have a good sweat going yet. So, my heart rate is picking up my cadence instead of picking up my true heart rate. There, we got it. Push it down nice and tight. That's my heart rate, 130. That probably makes a little better sense why I'm talking so well. This is the same reason why Zwift Power has my max heart rate at like 225. The old Garmin heart rate strap gets pretty finicky with the flapping jerseys. Nathan, I can see Twitch, Mixer, and Facebook. YouTube is the only one that I do not have open. So I should be pretty open to communication. Anybody wants to chat. For those that don't know me, I live in Illinois, central United States. You can see behind my head, behind me, is the Illinois State Champions jersey for a time trial. And I am a amateur triathlete, I would say. I'm very competitive triathlete, but on the other side of it, I've not been doing a lot of competing. So, I enjoy all things cycling for the most part. That is really where my passion is. And I kind of enjoy running, and I don't like swimming. But I do what I have to do to compete. Hey, Mom. Mr. Famous, how you doing? So, I do most of my training just out of the passion and fun for it. Cycling and running are my therapy or my outlet to help keeping my sanity. So I do a lot of my own kind of research on nutrition and training and keeping up to speed on things like that. Hey, Uneven Bo, how's it going? Cursing Poet, looks like you're on the Xbox. How's it going? We got Argus and was it Ostradamus? Yeah, swimming is awful. Argus and Ostradamus over at Twitch. Daniel Ratcliffe on Facebook. The foot pod is working really well, Daniel. For those that weren't here when I first started, when I get all done, if you guys are curious about the foot pod, how to find the running, how to pair the foot pod, and how to use the new calibration, I did all of that on the stream at the very beginning. So I believe in all the locations you guys are watching, there will be replays up there when we're done. So if you're curious about any of that kind of thing, go back and watch the replay
First thing we do when we start is we show how to get into the running version and how to calibrate things. Steve Massey asks, what am I using for your cadence? The cadence is actually coming from the foot pod as well. So I'm using a Garmin A&T Plus foot pod, and that foot pod broadcasts two things. It's a pretty basic foot pod. It broadcasts a pace or a speed, and it broadcasts the cadence. So my cadence, my run cadence is going to be around 160 to 170, I think, is what it is. And then I also have a Garmin heart rate strap on, which you'll see is reading my heart rate right now. So on my triathlon I did a few weeks ago, speaking of the awful swim, I really underestimated the swim. Being a short swim, 400 meters, I thought I could fake it, so to speak. I'm very fit right now, but I swam about 5 times since the first of the year. And something new I've been struggling with this year is I've got a new issue with asthma and allergies, and I underestimated the impact that would have on my swimming, because swimming is so breathing dependent. I started having asthma issues, and it really killed me. Hey Adrian, how's it going? I don't blame you for sticking with your bike. I really signed up to do this for Zwift Community Live, because today is supposed to be a rest day, and this kind of forces me to be accountable and stay off the bike. So by committing to doing the run, I stay off the bike. So I kind of do it for selfish reasons. Astradamus over at Twitch asks, how accurate is the foot pod? Treadmill pace is notorious for being off. So is the foot pod worth the investment? So Zwift, my treadmill is very accurate for pace, so I'll start with that. Some treadmills are not, but mine seems to be very accurate. So Zwift has just introduced a calibration for the foot pod into the game. So, and that's something that I did at the beginning of this run. So if you go back and rewatch at the very beginning, I go through that calibration. But basically, I ran at 7 miles per hour on my treadmill for 60 seconds while Zwift was calibrating me for 7 miles an hour, and it normalized my pace at 7 miles an hour. That's the simple terms of what it does. So right now, I have my treadmill set at 6 miles an hour, an exact 10-minute mile pace. I'm slightly off, but that's because I calibrated at a 7 mile an hour pace, which is right around a 9-minute mile. So when we step it up here in a few minutes and we get up to that 9-minute mile, I expect it to be more accurate. Foot pods have 2 different kinds, or many different kinds, but 2 basic premises, and these are terms I'm making up, but I will call them dumb foot pods and smart foot pods, like we use dumb and smart trainers. What I would call a dumb foot pod is a foot pod that strictly broadcasts what it measures, which is what I have. My foot pod does not do two-way conversations. It simply broadcasts the pace and the cadence. Any inaccuracies have to be accounted for in the receiver. So that would be Zwift has calculated a calibration or an offset to make me a little more accurate, or you can do the same thing with your Garmin watch. My Garmin watch, I can tell it to calibrate it'll tell me to go outdoors and run for a mile, and it'll calculate an offset. So those are the dumb foot pods, let's call them. The smart foot pods are more of the Bluetooth foot pods, and not all Bluetooth, but a lot of the newer higher end Bluetooth foot pods will allow two-way communication, and that calibration can be pushed into the foot pod. So stride is a good example of that. When you calibrate your stride, it is calibrating in the device itself. So I could calibrate a stride foot pod with my phone and then come indoors and run on Zwift, and that calibration is going to be reflected because it's stored in the actual device. So hopefully that makes sense. But with the new calibration that Zwift has, where you just run a set pace for 60 seconds and it syncs things up, you're going to get pretty good calibrations. There are foot pods out there for less than $30 now. So if you're going to run indoors on a treadmill, even without Zwift, I had a foot pod. Just because then my heart rate, my pace, all of my stats, I can upload to Strava or Garmin or anything like that off the treadmill. So I had the foot pod anyway. I'd say if you do much running indoors, it's worth it regardless of whether you do Zwift or not. John Tavius, I live in central Illinois, middle of the United States. So guys, give me a shout out where you guys are at. Hey Pete, thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to, and guys, I don't have any insider knowledge how these things work. I'm kind of a technology geek, and I like to understand how things work. So this is all my interpretation of the basics of how the technology works. Obviously, there's a lot more complicated things going on behind the scenes. You guys, I think, can understand the basics. Campbellsville. Les, how's it going? So, I haven't picked up the pace yet because Nathan baited me to sprint. So, when we turn here in a minute and go up toward Trafalgar Square, we didn't call it an all-out sprint, but we'll pick up the pace up the hill, see if we can't run alongside a few bikes. We can be the Tour de France guy running in his onesie up the hill next to the cyclists. I need to get me a moose head, and a way too revealing set of clothes, and run up the hill with him. So Pete says he uses a polar foot pod, and it works great for what he uses it for. I've not heard of any bad reviews of foot pods, if that makes sense. They all pretty much do what they're meant to do. You just have to understand everybody's stride's different. So calibration is important. They're all very comparable in their functions, other than some are A&T Plus and some are Bluetooth, with the exception of Stride. Stride is the best because it is a power meter, not just a pace calculator, and it is very different. It's great for calculating pace, and it's great for Zwift, but it does so much more. So if you're really a data geek, and actually I think I'm going there next, is the Stride is the one to get. So here we go. sub-7. That was the shout out. So let's go up to 8 mile an hour. See where that puts us. Pace wise, it's pretty close. We'll step it up. Let's go to 9. That's a warm-up. Marvin says he's waiting to see swimmers on Zwift. Yeah, I think swimming would be cool. Although I don't know of any static device. Unless you had like, there's indoor like swimming machines that maybe would broadcast a pace. Tobin, how's it going? I'm just overall not good at running right now. So going up that hill was probably 5K pace for me right now. I'm set at a 7 mile an hour right now. We'll see how we can do here. So you can see my calibration isn't perfect, but it's not too bad. What you're seeing happen a little bit, to kind of get more into the data geek part of it, is calibrated 7 mile an hour, but I know my stride changes a little bit as I get more fatigued. So my stride has changed a little bit. Now that I'm relaxing a little bit, it's coming back into that 7 mile an hour. So accuracy's not like absolutely perfect, but it's pretty darn close. Sorry about the rumble on the mic there. Had to crank up the tunes in my ear. So Nostradamus says, wish I could watch Zwift while I swam. I could focus on more than just wanting to drown myself. I understand that completely. I was very close to buying waterproof headphones and a waterproof iPod when I was doing swim training, because it is just, it's just you inside your own head, just having to pass the time, and it's not fun. But I think there's some value in spending some quiet time with your own thoughts. So, if that makes sense. Tobin says, I'm not sure swimming's in the card for Zwift. I would agree. But rowing, yeah, and cross-country skiing, which is what Tobin just said. I'm right there with you, Tobin. I think we'll see rowing very soon. I get the impression, I don't know if we have that many non-America-based people here, European, etc., but I get the impression that rowing is bigger overseas than what I feel like it is in the States. So, I can see rowing picking up. JT Lightning, how's it going over there on Mixer? Valski Henna, thanks for the encouragement over at Mixer. Doing a little run demo. Anybody joining late that's curious how to find the running option in Zwift and how to calibrate the foot pod, which is a new function. You can watch the video on demand and replays of this. We did all that stuff when we set up. Random Hero, you should look into it. I can tell you, a Random Hero's comment is, I would totally work out if I had this. And it has completely changed my training. I've been a triathlon and an avid cyclist for 7 years now, almost 8. But last 2 years, things have gone to a different level and provided me much more flexibility in my training, being able to use Zwift and be indoors. So it really is awesome. Obasco, how's it going? Back it down a little bit. I'm having a hard time breathing. Basically, Henna, I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. Is it expensive? It can be, but it doesn't have to be. If you've already got a treadmill and you want to get a foot pod and you've got an iOS device, you can subscribe to Zwift for $10 a month, buy a Bluetooth foot pod, and run on your iOS device if you've already got a treadmill. So a $10 a month subscription and a $30 Bluetooth foot pod, and you're running. That's it. I'm running this on a pretty high-end video PC, and I've got a smart trainer and a bike. So, to replicate my setup, you could very easily be in the thousands of dollars. But you can also get a fairly nice, high-quality fluid trainer for a couple $100. So, there's a lot of different options if you're looking to do it for just run or just bike. So what's this? Nothing? Oh, the home run derby. Okay. I don't know much about that, guys, so I can't get into the home run derby. How tired am I? My legs are pretty sore today, so I'm not pushing too hard. So, kind of give you guys an idea. When I race on Zwift for about an hour, I'll average about a 165 or a 170 heart rate. So my heart rate's pretty well under control right now. JT Lightning speaking in code over there or something. Where I struggle with the run right now is my cardio fitness is way better than my running fitness. So Daniel over at Facebook just did a 5K on the treadmill, and this would make the running experience better. For sure, Daniel. Having the screen to interact with, be able to run, especially if you get some group runs going on, it's awesome. And then, for me, even the added benefit is the streaming and being able to interact with all you guys. I feel like I'm on the road with my friends, having a group run. Hey Pete, thanks for tuning in. You have a great evening too. Yeah, Matthew says he needs to get running himself. Maybe we need to create some 5Ks. Check out the Zwift Runners group on Facebook. They're trying to get some stuff organized, but the running obviously doesn't have near the volume of guys and the event stuff going on like the cycling does yet. But I think with the improvements we see coming and the focus on the running portion, I think it's just a matter of time. Basky, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Tobin, I push over 172 just about any time I race. You guys can hear the crowd in the background over my music a little bit. That's some of the stuff that they've added. Look, there's a guy on an iPad. I've never seen that. He's holding up an iPad on screen. That's awesome. Yeah, the running metrics are tough, Tobin. Yeah, 189 heart rate is, that's hitting it. That's getting near max for me. Anything 190 is race over. I'll get in the 180s and I can recover. 190 and I'm tapping out. Yeah, Tobin, they do. The measuring foot pods do have a little bit of bouncing around and pace in that, but if you calibrate them to your equipment and to your stride, it doesn't matter if Garmin doesn't match Polar, as long as you calibrate your Garmin independently of your Polar. That's really all that matters. Random Hero, how's it going? Yeah, the Random Hero's comment is I ran from an angry dog last summer. Does that count? That's the bad joke, right? Why are you running unless somebody's chasing you? Days, how's it going? As you guys can tell, I'm a sweater. You can start to see the path down my shirt. Adrian asked if I've done the Zwift London Marathon. I have not, Adrian. I think it's been 2 years since I've done a marathon, and I really don't have much desire to do one. Especially not on the treadmill. I probably should do one just to force myself to get training a little bit, but Ostradamus, I'm really training for any races in particular. A month from now, I should take that back. I should retract that. I'm doing a little time trial focus right now because my state time trials, I've got to defend the blue jersey behind me, which is a state champion jersey. This year's state champions are in about a month. So I would say I'm not really doing a lot to train for that, other than I force myself to do a lot more work in the time trial position, on the bike. But from a running perspective, I don't have anything dedicated on the calendar right now. There is a local marathon and trail race one weekend apart in October, and me and a buddy very often sign up for one of those, either the 30-mile trail run or the half or the full marathon in October. I would prefer the trail run normally. Trail running is much more about endurance, and it is as hard as running marathons, but it is much different. Pascal's asking who controls the camera. I've got a hotkey macro set up on my computer that is scrolling through camera views on Zwift, just to make it a little better for you guys, kind of see Zwift and the surroundings and that. So it's just a little macro I wrote that is sending keystrokes to Zwift to rotate through a few camera views. Yeah, and Nostradamus, you can do some damage going down on the trails. Most of my trail running is all endurance. We don't push pace or make a big competition about it. Tobin said his new frame sets long reach and low stack. You may as well be in a TT position. Yeah. Tobin, I put clip-on bars on my cyclocross bike. I've been riding it on a lot of rides, so I can still do my TT work on my cross bike with the panniers on it and 40 millimeter tires. So it's kind of my do everything bike. So, Days, this is Zwift. Check out Zwift.com. If any of you regulars are over at Mixer, give them the address there in the comments. A lot of info at Zwift.com. Tell you how you can get into it. It is a massive multiplayer online cycling race platform and ride platform, but they've introduced this running option into it now too. Ostradamus is talking about factor bikes. Never heard of those. Hey, thanks ECL admins for that. Appreciate it. So, but I don't know my numbers, but I'm a typical 54 guy. I'm about 5'8", and all my bikes are 54s. And my road bike is not a super aggressive frame, but I do have it slammed. So I ride a pretty aggressive position now. I have to check that out, Tobin. And Nostradamus, I've never heard of factor bikes. You have me intrigued now. Man, I'm regretting telling everybody I'd do 10K. This is gonna be a long finish. I am way out of running shape. Okay, AG2R rides factor bikes. I'll have to check that out. John, you made fun of me. I committed to 10K, I can't quit. Hey, thanks for the shout outs with Community Live. Yeah, the Zwift Quest was fun. Except for I would waste like an hour calculating the fastest route. Legendary Chase, how's it going? The Zwift Quest was a race where, like on Watopia, it would give you like 6 points on the course that you had to go to, and they were scattered out. So you kind of had to figure out the fastest way, and not necessarily the shortest, but the fastest way to get to all those points and back to start finish. It was a lot of fun. It was like almost like playing chess on a bike. There was a lot more strategy to it. Yeah, Tobin, I can ride a 56, but with my aggressive positioning now, 54 fits me great. I could actually do a 52, I think, and be pretty comfortable still. I ride a 54 now. I ride a Felt Z5 road bike and a Felt DA4 time trial bike, full 54s. And then I have a 54 Redline Conquest cyclocross bike. None of them super high end. My time trial bike is a pretty rockin' time trial bike that I picked up used. So it's a pretty awesome frame set, but a pretty low spec build for that frame set. The road bike was basically the cheapest carbon road bike you could buy when I got it. That was 10 speed. And it has served me fantastic. I've got over 30,000 miles on it, and I think it's 4 years old. Pace calibration has been spot on for Zwift. It's a big win for their running options. Kudos to Zwift for listening to the feedback. A lot of us runners got a survey a while back. I had originally read that they weren't really interested in calibration. I may have read that wrong, but then I'm assuming based on the feedback, they've responded to the need for the calibration from the runners and put it in here. So kudos to them for continually working to evolve it. Yeah, so the stem is slammed. I'm at a negative, I don't know. I'm all the way down, no spacers, and flipped with like a negative 10 degree stem. So, but when I was looking at it, my local shop is primarily specialized, and I was torn between a tarmac and a roubaix at the time. And I was not a race cyclist at all at the time. And the Z5 actually, head tube wise, fell right between them. So it was a little more relaxed than a tarmac, but more aggressive than the roubaix. So that's why I went with it. You know, I started out stem up, all relaxed, and slowly dropped things and got more aggressive. And hey Dark Knight, how's it going? This is about all the go I got for running it right now. My heart rate's good. My legs hate me right now. I am watching Facebook, Twitch, and Mixer for chat, guys, so any questions about me, my racing, my riding, my running, or Zwift, anything like that, just let me know. Yeah, Astradamus for sure. Shut up, legs right now. We are running on the London course right now. I didn't really know this course very well, this path that I picked, which is the new Greater London Flat Loop. Unfortunately, we're not going to get out onto the new portion of the loop much for a 6-mile run here, so I should have made the turn back there and got us out on the new road a little bit. Maybe next time. Yeah, Tobin, it wasn't that long ago that I bought my bike. I think it's a 2013 or 2014 model. So, I don't think the Roubaix and the tarmac changed much. I'm happy with my choice. I don't do a lot of racing. If I did a lot of racing, I'd probably pick up like a CAD 10 or something, or maybe an LA. Give me a nice aluminum bike to beat on. Yes, this is London. This is a virtual course, Metal Man. It is a virtual course that about 50% of it replicates exact London streets, and then there's a portion of it that is a Box Hill climb that replicates a famous cycling hotspot outside of London. So they kind of melted those together. Guy, how's it going? So where I'm at right now is a place on London streets that you can actually go to in real life. Life is good for me. It's hard to complain. Family's good. Kids are good. I'm in good shape. My health's good. We got awesome technology like this that allows me to be in the safety of my own home to do my workouts. We're expecting severe weather here today, so my basement keeps me safe. Yeah, I don't have real London references. My understanding is it's a good similarity, but definitely not perfect. Looks gotten quiet. Okay, so Metal and Man lives in London, so you've got daily references. So I think I'm a couple blocks off of Trafalgar Square right now. That makes sense to you? The river is just off to my left. Phantom, we're actually broadcasting on YouTube right now. Check check out the channel Zwift Community Live. All of our past broadcasts are out there. We have all kinds of different content on this channel. A lot of race coverage for cycle racing. There's some fitness stuff with Zustana. Broadcasts on here and does some workouts. With kind of some exercise and some general health and wellness information. We do life and cycling with Mrs. Coach, which is Lindsay Guerra. And he's had everything from nutrition and family life balance with training, all kinds of awesome things like that. 24, how's it going? Usually the life and cycling with Mrs. Coach is on Tuesdays, so that might be coming up tomorrow. Hey Vico, how's it going? Thanks for the shout out on Facebook. So if you turn and go over the bridge right there, you would go over into the fake London area. For the day for me today, let's see, I ate Cheerios for breakfast. For lunch, I had ramen noodles and a pork chop, and then some grapes, some apples, and a slice of ham. So, I monitor my calories, but not necessarily the quality of my food real great, but because I monitor calories, you kind of have to eat better, calorically proper food, or you simply just run out of calories. Nostradamus, if I am on Zwift, I am usually broadcasting. I'm on Zwift Community Live today, which is a community channel with some featured broadcasts. You can check me out at my own channel. I am on Twitch and Mixer as well. It is CS_tricks, TRIX. So if you check me out and follow me at CS Tricks, you'll get notifications. Yeah, and over at Mixer, Zwift Community Live just dropped me a link there. So when I'm not broadcasting here for the community channel, I'll be broadcasting on my own channel. And pretty much anytime on Zwift, I'm online. So for anybody, since Funny 4 kind of brought it up, and Phantom Purple. So, I weigh about 150 pounds, give or take a few pounds. My daughter turns 8 in a couple weeks. When my daughter was born, I smoked a pack a day and weighed 210 pounds. So, for anybody out there looking at me saying, oh, here's this natural athlete, I can't get there. You can. I was never an athlete in high school. I never rode my bike competitively prior to 7 years ago. I never ran a 5K. I never swam a lap in a pool. So, one of my tips for nutrition is, I don't even call it diet. I journal everything. I use my MyFitnessPal app and I log all my calories, and I log all my workouts. And I always try to maintain a calorie balance. When I was losing weight, I would always try to maintain like a 300 or 400 calorie a day deficit. Not a big one. I lost my weight over probably 3 years. It didn't happen fast, but I'm able to maintain it. And I was able to get stronger and become an athlete while I was losing weight. Because of that, I will say that I don't know that all of the training I do will always be a part of my life, but I will always be a cyclist. I will say that with a passion. I love cycling. I love being on my bike. I love the therapy that it provides to me. It makes me a better person. It helps me be better to my family. It makes me healthier for my family. But it also, mentally, it's good for me. Having that time in the saddle to work through your things going on, and that it really is, it's been life-changing. So there's my deep thoughts. Thanks, Tobin. And don't get me wrong with the diet part. I enjoy eating. I love the days when I go and ride a 4,000 calorie ride. Because then I'm like, I get to eat. I get to eat tons of stuff. Oh, Blazed, thanks for the shout out, man. And I don't share that for any accolades to myself, guys. I share that for anybody that might be watching that is frustrated or stuck in the rut. I got a little too focused a few years ago on me and my competition and my physicality, and I still struggle with that from time to time. But I have to come back to, if a part of what I'm doing is not to help others, then I'm losing the focus. One of the things I say a lot is when I start taking the fun out of it, I'm doing something wrong, and that's when I kind of pull back and have to refocus. So I would say to anybody out there, running, riding, whatever it is, you find what is fun for you. What worked for me won't work for everybody, but I have to believe that there's something that would be fun for anybody out there. So, yeah, Tobin, 4,000 calorie rides. I did like 77 miles on Saturday. I think I did 90 last Tuesday, and I did 120 miles a week ago Saturday. Yeah, Pastor Thomas, I just passed the 10K mark. I'm gonna back her down and walk for a minute, cool down. See, you guys got me talking, and at 4.5 miles, I was losing my wind, and I ran right through 10K because you guys striked that passion in me. So, and there's one thing, guys. If you're on Zwift and you want to check out streaming and that's also been something that's been big for me to improve my experience. It's this interaction right here. I will ride longer rides, and I will spend more time on the trainer if I have somebody interacting with me. You guys over at Twitch, if you want to follow me, I'm typing in my login right now. So that's the CS Tricks. Zwift Community Live dropped me a link over at Mixer. Truth Chaser. I am 38 now, so I started at about age 30 or 31 when I started riding. I lost my Facebook feed. So I started riding a comfort bike with my dad, who was riding a recumbent bike. That's how I started, and then I bought a recumbent bike. I rode, I think, 3 years, 2 or 3 years on recumbents only. And then I bought my first road bike and did a duathlon and got hooked into the tri stuff and got a tri bike and just got my cross bike last year. So, you know, I've studied the sport a lot and I've done a lot with it, but I'm still really new overall to it. Hey, Disco Starfish, what's up? Sylvan, that may be true. You never know. I didn't think anyone would ever want to watch me too, and apparently they do. So, and like I said, I don't do it. I do the stream kind of selfishly because you guys help motivate me. You keep me engaged here. Like right now, I mean, if I wasn't talking with you guys, I would have just stopped the treadmill and I'd be done. You know, the interaction. It's just like going outside and being on a group ride. So, you know, if you're streaming in your channel, if you're racing or doing a ride, and you got 2 or 3 guys in there talking to you about something that you're passionate about, then it makes the time go by. We're doing centuries, 100-mile rides on the gaming platform, interacting with people, you know, and even with the awesome platform, that's hard to do without some interaction in that, and it just takes it to the next level. So it's pretty cool. So guys, I appreciate everybody for joining us. I'm gonna look to see what our schedule has coming up. Hoping I'm talking kind of loud, but I want to make sure I'm opening the mic because I'm not running anymore. So I'm gonna check out what do we have on the Zwift Community Live platform. I'm pretty sure tomorrow is going to be a big day of racing on Zwift Community Live. Truth Chaser, I do not make any money riding. I think I have done, 3 races where I made a little bit of money. I mean, we're talking like $20, not anything significant. I don't race to that level. I don't do a lot of in real life racing. I'm a 38-year-old father of 4. I can't risk getting hurt and racing and that sort of thing. So I do a lot of racing indoors where it's safe, and I do a lot of riding. Last year I rode 12,000 miles for the year, so that gives you an idea of how much I ride. So tomorrow we've got the KISS Australia Secret Series race at 10 a.m. All these times are BST, I believe. KISS America's AM, I think that'll be Ian racing. We got KISS Australia. Got Life and Cycling with Mrs. Coach. We talked about that a little bit ago. So that's an awesome tune in. Get some coaching tips. And the XRS Europe night race. I may make an appearance in that one. So we'll see on that one. But that's the lineup for tomorrow, guys. Anybody that is new to Zwift Running and wants to know, I gotta turn this down. It's in my ears. Anybody that's new to Zwift Running and is curious about the new calibration, how to find the KISS Running part of the app, how to pair your stuff to it, or anything like that, watch the replay of the run. At the very beginning, I go through my pairing screens and my calibration screens when I joined this run. So you can go back there and check that out if anybody's interested in that. A lot of you guys seem like you're pretty new to Zwift, so if you want to check Zwift.com, follow the page Zwift Community Live on Mixer, on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Video on demand is available in all of those places. So follow us there, check us out. You'll get notifications when we start streams. Check me out at my personal channels, CS Tricks on Twitch and CS Tricks on Mixer. If I'm not broadcasting on Community Live and I'm on Zwift, I will be broadcasting on my personal channel. So I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I'm calling it quits. It's dinner time. I'm hungry. And we'll catch you guys next time. I'm going to try to do a little bit more of this running. This got me motivated. This is the best run I've done in a while. So appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll check you out next time.